Young girl wakes up. I found myself in prison. But the strange thing is that the murderer not only did not hurt her, and she raised him as her daughter. Daily food and accommodation, but I'm not allowed to go out. The reason given was, the Earth was invaded by aliens. Hello, everyone. Today I would like to share with you sequel to the Clover series, Clover to 10th. The film is still produced by director G.T. Abrams. But the plot is very different from the first one. This time, the camera moves from the ground to the underground street, in the basement that can only accommodate 3 people. Every day, a story of constant reversal is played out. Especially this movie. The famous actor John Goodman was also invited to star. Goodman used his superb acting skills, playing a role between this thought and perversion. The nearby image that jumps back and forth, especially when he looks fierce. It makes people feel unconsciously tight. It feels like the protagonist is at risk of being killed at any time. Now, let us take a look at this. The acting skills of talented actors. Michelle, I had a fierce quarrel with my boyfriend, so I decided to move away. On the way, he received a call from his boyfriend. My boyfriend wants to persuade him to stay. Michelle, but he didn't say a word from beginning to end. I hung up the phone right away. He turned on the radio in the car. I heard it said inside, due to the common power system, catastrophic and extensive power outages. This caused local power outages in many places. But the next second, a serious car accident happened in Mixian. The car rushed all the way down the mountain. When Sean wakes up, I found myself with an 4 tube in my arm. He thought he was saved. But the next second, he fell. My legs are chained. Rice noodles are panicking. He tried to struggle to get his phone, but it's not enough. Suddenly, he noticed the 4 stand next to him. Sean used him to hook the phone to him. Wants to call the police, but I found that there was no signal at all. Suddenly, he heard someone opening the door. I was so scared that I quickly huddled against the wall. A burly man walked in. But the man didn't seem to have any ill will towards him. He not only sent rice noodles, but also food, and also gave him a pair of crutches. Besides, the man also threw him the key to the chain. Ziner told the man, if his boyfriend finds that he can't contact himself, I'll definitely call the police, but the man said no one would come to save him. After the man left, Sean immediately untied the iron chain on his feet. Then he sharpened the cane with the key. Be prepared to attack the man when he comes in. Mixian has been waiting for a long time. I never heard the door open again, so he had to look for him again. Sean looked around the room. Suddenly, an idea came to my mind. He lit a piece of cloth with the remaining matches in his bag. Then he stuffed the cloth into the earthen vent. Soon, the smoke alarm in the house went off. Michelle hid aside again. Then she wanted to sneak attack the man when he was not prepared, but he was subdued. He was forcibly injected with a sedative. When Michelle woke up again, I saw a man sitting beside me. He told Michelle. He rescued Michelle. It also helps him with his IQ, but Michelle wasn't grateful at all. Michelle heard this. Some doubts in my heart, because he can't remember anything. What happened at that time? The man seems to notice this. He began to tell Michelle. There was an attack outside. It's unclear whether it's a biological weapon or a nuclear bomb. And just at this moment, the man happened to encounter the rice noodle that had a car accident. He couldn't bear to see someone die without helping, so I saved the rice noodles. Mixianer thinks the man's words are just like making up stories. But he knew that he couldn't anger the man yet. So he first saved the man's life, showing gratitude. Then he used his own injury as an excuse. I want to go see a doctor. Or at least call your family to let them know you're safe. But the man said that this is meaningless, because after the attack, there are almost no human survivors out there. They were all poisoned by the polluted air on the surface. How long will it take for the surface to return to normal? Michelle asked. The man said this depends on How far are they from the center of the explosion? But he estimated. You have to wait at least 1 to 2 years. But don't worry. He has already done it here. Well, adequate preparation. You can live here for a long time. As soon as the man finished speaking, rice noodles are heard outside. There is a sound of something being pushed down. He immediately became passionate, but the man acted very calm. He went out and scolded the people outside. Then he came in and took the medicine box. Let Michelle rest. Stop doing those little tricks. Before closing, the man told Michelle, "My name is Howard." After a long time, Michelle suddenly heard a car coming from the basement, passing above, and his door. I don't know when it was open. Michelle walked out tentatively. But I accidentally hit the tin can on the ground. The harsh sound immediately woke up the other man. And the strange thing is, it was the first time they met. But the man wasn't surprised at all. He also took the initiative to ask about the rice noodles. Ask him how to get out of here. But the man said that he had a relationship with Howard. The same words. I also feel that it is not safe outside now. Just then, Howard suddenly came over. He told Michelle, the man's name is Emmett Gang. The sound just now was made by him. Play online. Emmett Howard prepares to take a bath with rice noodles. Passing the living room, Howard introduced him to the layout of the entire room. The facilities here are complete. Mizianer told Howard. He heard a car outside. But Howard said, even if there is a car passing by, the driver must have died a long time ago. Howard saw that Michon was still doubtful. So I took him to prove my claim. He took the rice noodles to the exit of the bunker. There is not only a long staircase here. There are 2 locked doors, used to chew the outside air. There is a transparent glass on the door. Can see outside. Howard pointed to the 2 rotting animal carcasses. Tell Mixianer, this is what happens when you get infected with poison gas. But it is this behavior. Let Mizianer see that it is quite hot outside. Howard's car. This could not help but remind him of the day when he had the car accident. This is the car that hit me. But rice noodles are silent. Instead, he went to Emmett. Ask him what kind of person Howard is. Emmett says, he guessed Howard might have been in the Navy. I also know a little about satellites. So he was very early. Started building this bunker. Very security conscious. It was then that Emmett was. The rice noodles that came to build the land treasure asked him, did Howard use the same lie? Trapping him here. He said Howard hit him with his car on purpose. Then imprison him. Emmett said he came in on his own. Howard didn't lie. Because he saw the big attack that day with his own eyes. At that time, a red flash appeared in the sky. Like a fish wave exploding in the distance. And Amy thought of this place first. And Michelle said he did. I heard a car outside. Emmett thought that was impossible. Everyone outside is dead. Mixian asked with a smile if this was what Howard said. But he didn't expect. Howard walked behind him at this moment. He admitted that he had told Emmett. And by the way, the food is ready. On the dining table, Howard was still very kind. But when he heard Emmett chattering, constantly looking for topics, chat with everyone, there seemed to be an irrepressible rage burning in my heart. Watch delay. Emmett, don't talk while eating. And Michon also noticed this. So he deliberately chatted with Emmett, flirting with Howard in front of him. Intentional physical contact. Howard saw all of this. He could no longer suppress the anger in his heart, pushing Michelle into a corner. Warn him not to do these things on purpose again. Otherwise, his safety cannot be guaranteed. Finally, Howard gave Mixianer some inspiration. You must be more careful in your future behavior. Mizianer was frightened. All weird things are done. But he didn't notice it at all. Michelle had caught him off guard. I secretly took the key from his waist. When he finds out, Mizianer picked up the bottle and smashed it on his head. Then I wanted to open the door and escape. But Howard is chasing very closely. He only had time to open the first door. At the same time, he also saw the car lights on outside. Mixioner wants to open the last door. Howard tried his best to stop him from behind. Please don't open the door. And just at this moment, a woman suddenly appeared at the door. His face has rotted away. He asked Michelle to let him in. But Howard asked Michelle to look at the woman's face. Once the door is open, they will become like him. The woman saw that Michonne was hesitant and refused to open the door. The rainy season changes from a request to a curse. Finally, he even banged his head against the glass on the door. This time, Michonne finally believed what Howard said. Howard also confessed to Michonne. It was indeed him who hit the rice noodle shop with his car that day. Because there was an attack. Howard is nervous. So I drove home quickly. I just wanted to overtake. But he accidentally hit the car of Me Noodles. He said he was sorry. Then he suggested that Michonne take a bath. He was standing at the door just now. There is a high possibility that gas will seep in from the anklet. Poisoned him. He was very considerate to give rice noodles. Prepare a change of clothes. Those were left by his daughter, Megan. Wait for me Shinger to come out of the shower. Howard asked him to sew up his wound. Because Howard was a soldier before. So some emergency treatment. How to make rice noodles. Then he handed Me Noodles' luggage to him. There are also his drawings in it. Originally, Michonne wanted to be a fashion designer. But now, it seems there is no chance. Howard told him. Megan's dream was to be an artist. He also showed Michelle a picture of Megan. In the past, the relationship between the women was very good. But then Megan was provoked by her mother. We moved to Chicago together. Rice noodles comfort him. Maybe not like them and me. Fortunately, I survived. Afterwards, Emmett also took the initiative to comfort Michelle. Tell him it wasn't his fault that he didn't save that woman. In that case, everyone can only choose to self-destruct. After this incident, the relationship between the three people has also been greatly eased. They eat together, play games together. Until this day, the whole room shook violently. It sounds like heavy armor passed by. Howard said it could be the entire army. But definitely not reinforcements. This is his experience as a Navy officer for 15 years. So he guessed. The flash you saw earlier is the first stage. Large-scale attacks. One-time clearing. Large population centers. Then comes the second stage. Because recent satellite records show. There has been a lot of encrypted communications recently. That could very well be an alien transmission. So now, those outside. It must be an alien airborne mobile patrol. They are looking for any remaining signs of life. They are saying. The indicator light in the room suddenly came on. Howard found out after checking. Empty room. What is the inlet of the air filtration circulation system? Stuck. They have to find a way to get him back to work as soon as possible. Otherwise, it won't be long. They will suffocate. But because the air ducts leading to the circulation system. Very small. Only rice noodles can crawl in. Howard told him. After entering, just flip the switch twice. The rice noodles have been crawling in there for a long time. Finally arrived at the control room. He first did as Howard said. Restarted the filter. Then he found an exit. But it was locked. Sudden, Michelle saw that the glass of the exit seemed to be scratched. Words carved into. A closer look, there was some blood on the inscription, help. Besides, Mi Xing also picked up an earring when she was going down the stairs. He suddenly thought of something. After coming out, Michelle quietly found Emmett. Tell him. Howard lied about Megan. Because he clearly remembered. The earring I picked up. Is it exactly the same as in the photo? Mi Xing said, while showing the photo to Emmett. But Emmett said, that's not Megan in the photo. But his sister's high school classmate. Missing 2 years ago. Everyone thought he ran away from home. Now it seems, he must have been kidnapped and killed by Howard. Suddenly, another photo fell out. Howard and a girl. And the girl's clothes and rice noodles. Dressed exactly the same. This completely confirmed their thoughts. Emmett says, they have to find a way to get out of here. But there is poisonous gas outside. Even if you go out, you will be poisoned to death. But fortunately, there is always a way out. Sean looks at the bathroom curtain. Suddenly, I had an idea. He wants to make his own isolation suit. At night, Emmett deliberately mentioned to Howard. Today, Michelle took the main filter. That is, there is a high possibility that the body is contaminated with toxic gases, so the bathroom he used. A thorough cleaning is necessary. Howard thought again and again. I think it makes sense. So I changed all the things in the bathroom, including the curtain. Next, Michelle and the others secretly picked it up again. 3 people played word-guessing game together in the evening. When it was Emmett's turn, he nearly exposed their plan. Fortunately, Ziner was there to smooth things over in time, but their guilty conscience still aroused Howard's suspicion. He called Xing and Emmett, asked them to help carry a bucket of concentrated sulfuric acid. Then in front of them, take the scissors and batteries they stole. Throw it into the bucket. It was cleaned up in an instant. Towit asked them what they were doing. Otherwise, throw them into sulfuric acid. Finally, Emmett took the initiative to take responsibility. He said he wanted to make a gun, used to threaten Howard, so that he can get the same treatment as Michelle. Howard said he could understand. But I can't forgive. Then he took out his gun and shot Emmett dead. Michelle was stunned. Howard told him, now, there are only 2 of them here. No one can hurt him anymore. Then he asked Sean to return to the room. He's staying to deal with the body. It might cause him discomfort. Sean looked at the documents left by Emmett. Silently shed tears. He knew he had to speed up. But suddenly, he heard footsteps. I stuffed my clothes under the mattress. The gas mask was stuffed into the vent. I thought I could hide it from the world. But I didn't expect a screw fell from above. Howard asked him what he was doing. I unexpectedly saw something under the mattress. He dragged the rice noodles aside. Then he lifted up the mattress. I saw the isolation suit hidden underneath. And Sean took the opportunity to run away. He came to the living room, see Emmett's body corroding. He quickly took out a bottle of coolant from the drawer. Then he kicked the sulfuric acid barrel. Howard couldn't dodge. Fell directly into the sulfuric acid granules. Michelle hurried back to the room to get the isolation suit. Wait until he returns to the living room. When preparing to leave through the ventilation duct, found that the wires had just been corroded by sulfuric acid. A fire had already started. Rice noodles quickly climb into the pipe. As a result, Howard grabbed. Fortunately, he struggled to break free. Then he used a condensing agent to freeze the door lock. Then smash it open. This is how I finally escaped. I saw Howard's car parked at the door, ready to try to start. As a result, I accidentally isolated. A cut was made in the suit. He was terrified. Wrap it up with tape. But at this moment, Michelle actually saw. There is a line of wild geese flying across the sky. Only then did he dare to raid the Green Mansion. Soon there was an explosion in the bunker. The loud noise attracted a spaceship in the distance. Sean originally thought they were here to search and rescue. But I didn't expect. There are several tentacles extending from under the spacecraft. He realized something was wrong. I want to hide in the car. Quickly. The car alarm was accidentally triggered. Jeannaire can only hide in the house next door. Through the gap, he saw a monster crawling out of the bushes. And you can lift the car easily. Sean was so scared that she dared not make a sound. Suddenly, he saw Howard's body next to him. So I quickly took out the key and prepared to drive. But I found that the light was still on in the house next door. Sean wants to ask for help, but when he walked in, he fell. It turned out to be a spaceship parked behind the house. The light emitted. The spacecraft takes off. There is poison gas spraying from the tail. Li Shan quickly put on the gas mask. Then hide in the car and watch. Seeing those poisonous gases, once they come into contact with fire, it will explode immediately. So a plan came to mind. He stuffed a piece of paper into the mouth of the bottle. Then light the paper with fire. A simple bomb is ready. Then, when the battleship launched its attack, throw the bottle into the tentacle. The next second, the spacecraft was blown to pieces. Mi Shan immediately took the opportunity to drive away. When I was pouring on the road, I accidentally knocked down the road sign. It says 10 Cloverfield Road. Li Shan turned on the radio in the car. I heard that there are many survivors gathering in Houston. If anyone who hears the broadcast has first aid or combat experience, please help them. After listening to this, Bai Zeinerfeld immediately turned the car around, then lost towards Houston. This is the end of the video. Movie Call Off to Number 10. A sequel to the Cloverfield series. Not only the plot is solid, and the plot keeps turning around. Fascinating. This makes Clover more than 10. A decent sequel. It's an excellent movie in its own right. He used the previous settings and make them more effective. No roles are repeated. Structure or plot. If I were to describe it in the most appropriate words. Naklov. By then, it will be completed too. Well, established tasks, compared to those big action movies. The layout from Clover to Number 10 is a bit cramped. But he made good use of it. Small single scene. And a lot of facial expressions. Close-up shots as an aid. Pull the nerves of Guanyin to the tightest. It's a very exciting science fiction disaster movie. Well, that's all for today's sharing. See you next time.